Computer audio.
That's Lips. How are you, brother?
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys?
Oh, I know you, Kelly, right?
I'm doing really,
Turn the
really
volume
well.
up. I'm not wearing my hearing aids.
I like that you're both 666 there. That's kind of cool.
What do you mean? Oh, how about that? Isn't that nice?
That is nice. When Lane gets here, he always does a really cool
Well,
photo.
we're all neighbors of the beast, right?
We really are. We really are. You know, that's always a variation of my, pin or something. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I just want to say welcome. It's really cool that you two are meeting. Andy, why don't you introduce yourself and tell Lips exactly who you are as we wait for the others?
Hi, Lips. I'm Andy. I manage Cyteria, Jackie's other band.
Okay, great, man. That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, I know you both love Jackie almost as much as me now. She's just amazing, is she not?
Oh, she's just a good person and somebody who works very hard to try to be a musician. You got to respect that. Nothing is better than that.
Yeah. She's great. She's the whole band are very, very easy to work with. Very easy. There's no egos. There's nothing there whatsoever. So it's great. It's so easy for me to work with a band like that, to be fair. So it's great. Yeah.
Exactly. And I want to thank you so much too for any opportunities that are coming our way, and just really looking forward to working with you, brother, because I don't know what it is, Lips, about the Canadian and the American managing and promoting. It's just so freaking hard and vicious.
Because the business is completely, totally, utterly saturated.
It's saturated
and everybody's more than willing to work at a cost to themselves rather than actually make money. So there's virtually fuck all out there for anybody to make money on. It's taken a better part of 10 years to build my band to the point where I can do return dates endlessly in the United States and maintain a level of financial security that you're not going to get paid less. You might not get paid more, but you certainly aren't going to get paid less. That took a long time to actually solidify.
I can imagine.
Very, very, very difficult to actually get redates.
Yeah. I find that
in the
so
reality,
hard to believe.
In the reality of it, but at the same time, you have to, there are, but for the most part, you have to get famous enough. You got to get famous enough that the new place wants you too.
And I think that,
it's brutal. It's brutal.
There's so many cool new ways to do that. I'm really coming up with some neat ideas as far as promotion ideas, TV shows, and it's
get arrested. You gotta get arrested or something.
Exactly. And I mean, I feel like it's just around the corner. I'm so proud we did that podcast for the Canadian Music Magazine. I think that was really, really great.
That should make about no difference.
8 people would listen. Yeah, I know. But you know what? I do think that the Now magazine, how many people read that magazine? That's a lot.
But the thing is, what I've come to realize is that the specified press for a particular genre only goes so far.
Yeah, I'm
like in a case for me where I've had a movie and it's been distributed to a world that is everything and anything but heavy metal. The worst thing that anybody could ever do is put an ad in a heavy metal fanzine or something and expect a big crowd.
No,
Never
no.
gonna
And
work.
this is what I mean.
Never
This
gonna work.
magazine is a free newspaper that people pick up all over the city. You know, they're riding the subway, they're just everywhere,
Yeah,
right?
now, yes, Now Magazine, but the
It's a great magazine.
thing is, it's like, it's known as being very
Okay.
wide range and a nonprofit.
But I will say this, I read the whole thing every time I rode the subway from start to finish. I really did, every day. So I
Yeah.
know, even just as a Torontonian, that it's readable.
It's local. It's local.
The other cool thing, and I don't know if you guys have ever watched any of the funny little memes that Thrash TV puts up. That guy's freaking hilarious, and he's local to Toronto. So, you know, there's a lot of new options as far as getting that fame out there. You know, it is not easy though. But Andy, do you have any, advice on getting yourself famous? Yeah,
Get yourself famous.
there you go.
Apart from just working. I mean,
Working
Lips,
your ass.
he's been around for that. He's been around for years, and just continuously working hard at the end of the day. And just unless you get a lucky break with a decent record label, you just got to keep working hard and hard and hard. That's all that that it's the same in the UK.
That's exactly it. It's keep working at it as hard as you can forever. And then you might have a chance.
Maybe.
Kelly, we were just talking about this yesterday, actually. We were saying that even if you get that lucky break, if you don't have what it takes, it's not going to last. It'll be gone.
This is true. This is true.
You
Welcome, Ben.
It's over in a few minutes, man.
Yeah. Welcome, Ben. This is Andy Saitiria's manager, Dad, and my co-manager, I guess, in the UK.
Andy, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, you guys will love each other.
You.
Okay.
Awesome.
There was
good to see
another
you, man.
surprise too. Maybe I don't think he got in. I can't really check on people on Facebook and run this program at the same time. But I had a really awesome merch idea. Okay, so this guy makes very flat, injectable molded skulls that sort of come out of a little tile, right? I thought, what a great insert into an album. I said, would you be willing to do these for metal bands? He goes, in a heartbeat. He made one for you, Lips, that has anvil, a little skull. So it was really cool. So that was my weekly.
What does this thing do? What is
Nothing. It's just like something, it's a neat piece of merch. You could put in a frame. You could just sit it on your table. It just is sort of three-dimensional. I mean,
it sounds three-dimensional. I was trying to figure out how it's packaged.
It's sort of, I'm not sure how it's packaged. I didn't get that far, but I mean, it was the shape of a record. You know what I mean? It was about the size of a record, and you know how the new records now all have the swirls on them and look really cool, right? It's the same sort of look to it. And you could just have a different skull for every band that we do. They're super cheap, super original. And I have so many merch ideas because Lips, when you went on about 4 episodes now about the AC/DC horns, and we'll give you a second to say your piece about them if you feel the need, but they make more money off those horns, right? Than anything.
Those DC horns, they can retire on that.
Yeah, right. So the right piece of merch is, I think, really essential. Original merch. And
buy them for fucking 50 cents and sell them for $13.
Right.
And then everybody feels awesome being able to say, I was in the exact same space as Angus Young was.
Yeah.
Or devil horn from Angus Young.
It's a keepsake. It's a stupid keepsake.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, they do make a fortune
It's not
off
stupid
of it.
though. That means a lot to people. As much as the music does, as much as the band does, that represents.
Initially, those devil horns were never associated with AC/DC. They were something that you could just get as at Halloween and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do know people, like, look at you behind you there, people get collectible, right? And then eventually that shit just takes over your house and you just live in a freaking store of
junk.
Collectibles, right? It does sell,
Pretty much
People
like my
want to
office.
see neat stuff, different stuff. Everybody's got 500 t-shirts. Like who needs another, well, buy the t-shirt.
everybody, believe me, everybody, especially metal people, have got junk. They got it.
Tell me
Yeah,
that.
I know, but that's the thing. We got to come up with some interesting new stuff. And I remember going way back and saying, Lips, how do we revolutionize metal? And he goes, well, we'll just have to make a new instrument. And that was
That's
genius.
right.
It's true. So we're going to have to create a new instrument, some new merch, some new ways of doing stuff. And I think it's a really interesting time to be involved in the music industry because it's going to change in the next few years, big time.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's definitely things have changed definitely after COVID as well. To be fair, there's a lot more bands who are thinking of other ways to basically promote themselves.
Yeah.
So,
No, anything is possible, and anything is likely. But on the other side of it, nothing is possible. Nothing is likely. You take a risk, man. It's still a risk. It's still a risk. Always was and always
Always
will
will be.
be.
Always.
With most of the odds against you.
Yeah.
That's what it was then. That's what it is now, but multiplied by much, much more.
You know what intrigues me?
It's cheap as shit to record yourself. You can do it on your computer, so you can get your music out. It's cheap as shit to promote yourself, so you can put it on YouTube, and you can make your become famous just by being an imbecile on fucking Facebook. So what the hell, And
Can I ask you guys a question? Can I ask you guys a question? Both of you, as being in the music industry, or I should say, being successful in the music industry, both when things were, let's say, of the analog age and now of the digital age, how can we best cross over without being lost in the analog age? And when I mean analog age, I mean pre-social media.
This is why you're my other co-host. I was just going to say that repeating the things that we did back then is not going to work post, after COVID. But go ahead. Yeah, answer the question.
Well, I think everything's going to change after post-COVID. It's not just going to be the whole industry just been turned on its head completely.
Yeah.
With venues closing down, it's going to be harder to get gigs now. It's going to be harder so all bands are going to have to move with the times. They're going to have to go. Move into the digital era properly. So I mean, Cyteria are quite a unique band because you've got Jackie, who's the older member, and then you've got the other three are all sort of like 25 to 30. Yeah. So they're all digitally aware. Whereas, like me and Jax, we both, I'm 53, she's 55. It's like we're both sort of like old-fashioned in the way we do things, especially when it comes to gigs. I still go out and put flyers out and poster for gigs.
You know what I think is a really amazing thing? I used to be a tattoo artist, and at some point in your career, you have to decide, am I going to take on an apprentice? Yeah. And I think that mentoring a younger band can be beneficial for both bands. Okay. I mean, imagine, Lips, you mentoring a young metal band from Toronto, how much that could mean from them, but how much you could possibly learn from them as well, about the new technology.
I don't know.
Yeah. And how's Anvil dealing with this? How's Anvil dealing with this change, with this new technology?
I'm not sure what you're asking. You asking me something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like the same question basically as what I was saying for Andy. I wanted to hear your take as being a frontman for a band that had success in the analog times, and you moved smoothly into the digital.
Whatever got me forward and got me to where I was being there and working my ass off and getting some luck.
Yeah,
right.
Luck.
But along with the way, being nice enough people that it makes a difference to other people.
That's what I was just saying.
When I was 27 years old and I played the Marquee Club in London, England, and it was my first time ever playing in England, I couldn't fucking believe what I was living. And a kid that was 15 years old comes knocking at my door, and he knew who we were. which was
Ah.
absolutely astounding that somebody's coming to the door who's got an English accent and knows Anvil's material, knows who I am personally. It was such a knockout, bizarre thing because I hadn't known what it feels like to have my music in other countries abroad. It was my first time experience. I let this kid into the change room. Not only did I let him into the change room, I became friends with a 15-year-old punter, a little fucking young kid, right? But here I am being 25 or 26 years old, and this kid's 15. In any case, it was a huge. You can imagine being a 15-year-old and being treated like we treated this kid. Then on top of it, we find out the kid has a family in Toronto, where I come from, and he shows up on my doorstep. Come on in. Holy shit, what are you doing here? I'm visiting my uncle. Okay. And then we ask him to come on the road with us. We take him to Quebec. He's now, by then he's about 16, so it's all okay. So now he's setting up Rob's drums, and then he goes and gets laid for the first time in his life.
I love it. Yeah.
So,
You
so what do you think, Luca? What kind of impression do you think this is going to all have on this 15-year-old? So by the time he turns 37, he's been to fucking film school. He's worked with Steven Spielberg. And then he thinks, what happened to Anvil? And he looks me up. And from that moment on, my life changed. More luck.
More luck.
And that's my story. Everybody's got a different story, but it's all really the same. It's everything is shit until you get good luck.
But
there was no luck in there at all. There's no luck in there at all. You know what it was? You were a good person to that 15-year-old kid when you came backstage. The karma came back to you, man.
It's
good
true, because if you were an asshole your whole life and super talented, and then all of a sudden you got that lucky break,
but that's not
nobody around you. You're just gonna crumble, fall apart so fast.
There are asshole rock stars.
No, I get it, but
how does someone like that make it? Holy fuck, what a dick.
Well, they found the right, I don't know. I mean, come on.
That's when when your uncle is a president of Geffen Records or back in the days, there's a lot of nepotism going on. I mean, John Bon Jovi wasn't an accident.
That's true. Do you think though that it's a difference?
No. Well,
no, he's great, but
there was a fortunate thing. John worked for his uncle who owned a studio in New Jersey.
Right.
So there's a lot going on there. John had access to studio musicians. He wrote the songs, went in and worked with them in the studio, and he had all this access to all this stuff. The people that are on the first Bon Jovi album weren't even in the band by the time they went on the road.
Wow.
Well,
I didn't know that.
It's all fabricated. It's all fabricated and manufactured. No, and is that luck? Yeah, he was born into the Bon Jovi family.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it does have a little help sometimes.
I'd call that lucky. I wouldn't say that's not lucky.
But I don't think it's all luck. But Ben, I wanted to ask, do you have our trivia questions? Because these are all.
Actually, yeah.
I knew you did.
I just wanted to say, hey, Andy and Lips, this has been a really great show. I've really enjoyed so far. Like, our conversations have been very outside of the box of the norm, and it's been going great.
Yeah.
Man, here's an example of what I mean. I'm standing at the Spirit Awards in Los Angeles, and Dave Grohl is there. He'd introduced Anvil. He'd given me a guitar, all this stuff. And he goes and he turns to me, he goes, all of this is just luck. All of it. Everything I've ever lived, everything that's ever happened, it's all about luck. He says, Kurt and I drove down from fucking Connecticut, and we were living on the street and living in a squatter house with no fucking like a squatter apartment, no windows, no fucking heat, no electricity, no water, and sleeping bags on the fucking floor. And then 6 weeks later, we're in the Hyatt Regency looking out over Hollywood. Why? We walked into the record company at the right fucking moment with our demo tape. And that's what the fucking difference is. We were at the right place at the right time. And had we gone to a different label that day, we might have gone home.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah.
it was a lot. It was like, this is going to be the last of it, man. We can't go on anymore. They're right at the end of the rope. And they go to that fucking place, they give them the tape, and bingo.
I don't,
Everything goes big.
Yeah.
Everything goes big, man, and big, so big that it actually, in the end, just the sadness that you saw in Dave when he was saying that in the end, it killed his friend. Just
Yes.
wow, what a heartbreak,
Yes.
man. But he's
Yes.
going, it's all luck, man.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can go too far. And that's what he was kind of saying. And I'm going, wow, that's fucking wow. It's just walking in right at that last moment. I'm going to fucking take this last ditch effort. I'm going to do this. And then you go do it and something happens. But once again, that's the same theory. In order to make your future happen, you have to participate in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't just sit back and wait for the future to come to you. You have to participate in it. And the way that you participate it is carrying on. Carry on, regardless. Doesn't matter if you get a no, if you get a maybe, if you get a fucking I don't want you.
I just want to say, like, Lips, every day, you say these things, and I mean over and over again, and just my daily struggle is so fucking hard sometimes. I'm sorry, but I hear your words in the back of my head over and over. I think of giving up all the time. This is just so hard, and I just can't do it. And I just, I take
Of course you can.
breaks, and then I get right back up. Like I was at my buddy's house, right? And something, really didn't pan out, and it was heartbroken. I went for a walk and had to scream and cry and kicked a tree and just a freak out, and then came back in and just went, okay, all right, I already got an idea. You know what I mean? Because you just gotta keep going, right?
The thing is, everybody, you do have a fate. I believe in that too. But the bottom line is, you got to get to your future by taking part in it, regardless.
Aww.
And that's really the ultimate thing that you can do, because that's when luck happens. That's what I discovered. Luck happens only because you're there for it to happen to.
Exactly.
But
I'd like to believe we make our own luck, You had the luck that kid came in your dressing room, but you made it happen. If you were an asshole to him, he could have gone on, and who knows? Maybe he would never even been successful in the career he chose, before he even met you. Maybe he would have hated people who were famous.
Well, this is the thing. He had I think his train of thought that brought him back to us is the fact that it actually changed the direction of his life at an important. Some of it not so good, and some of it really positive. So, in the positive sense, at a very young age, we introduced him to, as an example, the Queen's cousin, and the Queen's cousin was friends with everybody from Jimmy Page to fucking Bad Company to Paul Rogers, all the rock stars.
Everybody.
The girl school girls knew who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Lord Philip Harvey. Lord Philip Harvey was also the last person to see, one of the last people alive to see Jimi Hendrix.
Wow.
Okay, and this is a person that actually made himself known to me back in '82. These are all people that I had met when I went and played in London at the Marquee and also at the Donington Festival.
That is incredible.
There's a whole bunch of shit that is from that one little capsule that I met, and it's just phenomenal who these people really were. you know, and who I was actually hanging out with and who they were connected to. I was very, very innocent, no clue. But for whatever reason, this Philip Harvey got interested in Anvil. So whatever, all this stuff, and that connected Sasha to the whole famous world.
I love the royal family for adoring freaks, going as, you know, back to Queen Victoria. I don't know if, you know, this is a true rumor, but Queen Victoria and Aleister Crowley had a, you know, line, and that is the Bush line. So George Bush is a descendant of Aleister Crowley through Victoria. I don't know. This is a rumor. I heard it as a kid. But you can research that she did hang out with circus freaks and just the weird, like the interesting. She just wanted to know what was out there, you know? I couldn't imagine what it'd be like trapped in the royal family and not being able to actually really experience humanity, because you're in this weird bubble. But you know, you could.
Yeah, but you know what? Everything that we see here, taste, whatever, it's your own perception. So
Right. Absolutely.
sometimes you just don't,
know.
you're not viewing it right.
That's
And
true.
I could
That's
be
true.
guilty
That's
of
true.
it every day.
I know. I know. All right. Are we all good again? Whew. Hate it when that happens. So I guess
We
let's
just
I
don't-
am curious about the trivia question. What's the trivia question, man?
All right. Well, and it's great to have you playing this week because it's always fun with you know, a good group of people.
Mhm.
All right, let's try this one out. Okay, this is a completely rando. Did your grandmother have dentures? Here's a scary fact that grandma didn't share. Originally, dentures were made from teeth of real people. That's answer A. The crazy fact is B, were often made from horse teeth. C is could cause mouth cancer. And D, didn't burn during cremation process.
Oh wait, because they're made of human teeth. A.
I'll go over it real quick. Okay, A is made of human teeth. B is were often made from horse teeth. C is could cause mouth cancer, and D is didn't burn completely during cremation.
I'm going to go for B.
For B, the horse teeth.
Yeah, I think I am too.
Okay. Well, Kelly was right with A. They actually used
I saw them. They're creepy.
yeah.
They're creepy. Yeah.
teeth from human skulls, cadavers.
Oh, really?
Imagine that.
A lot of the real human hair extensions are actually off of corpses and dead bodies. And that's, you know, they had to make it, they started making synthetics a lot more popular. I just thought that was so creepy. So we're still doing weird shit.
But you don't put it in your mouth. Imagine that. Imagine all
You
the
stick it
food.
to your
your
head
teeth-
and wear it as a, yeah, I know, that's okay, I'll tell you a funny
Like,
story.
where those teeth again.
I didn't know that people
Yeah,
had
does it?
false teeth when I was a little girl. I was about 3. My parents had, or my grandparents had a little cup of water on the sink and whatever was in whatever, right? And half asleep, I went in and grabbed my grandpa's teeth cup instead and just took a big swig and his teeth fell out on my face. And I freaked. I was crying. I couldn't believe it. Then for like years, I was staring at people's mouths, trying to figure out who had real teeth, who didn't. And like, how could that, you know, nobody tell me, right? It was just so traumatic, so traumatic. Wow. But yeah, anyways, okay, go on. What's the next one? There's usually a few.
All right. This is, I don't know who came up with this one, but apparently it's a fact. What's the most popular day of the week to watch porn? Is it A, Friday, B, Saturday, C, Sunday, or D, on Monday?
I'm gonna say Monday because it's the most depressing for people.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Kelly on that one.
He was like, what day do I?
Monday, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Well, the three of you all up with your porn because yes, Monday is correct. Good for you guys.
What
You're right.
10 minutes, but like one of my favorite moments on the show was when a young guy said, Lips, you have so much content. Do you ever forget the lyrics to your own songs? Right? And then you said yes, actually, and you read aloud like your song about masturbation as poetry till it trailed off to the end. And I mean, I'm still laughing about that. That was too funny. Yeah, does that happen a lot? Like forgetting songs that you wrote?
Forget lyrics?
Of course.
Of course. How many songs do you think you have written?
I think I have
Written.
20
Ever.
albums. That's like about close to 200 songs.
200 songs.
You
That
memorize
are,
that. How the fuck could you ever memorize that?
holy shit. Okay, is that like songs that are out, like, or just in your whole life?
For Anvil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 200. Wow, that's a lot. What was the first song you ever wrote?
Don't remember.
Aww.
You don't remember, really? How about the first song you ever recorded?
Oh, fuck. I was really young.
Yeah. 4-track, Fostex cassette.
Yeah, of course, man. 'Cause that's
I had a reel to a little tiny like Mission Impossible style reel to reel when I was 10 years old, and I used that to record my guitar when I was 10 years old.
Aww.
Instantly, because to me, playing meant writing. Because that's what my older brother kept on telling me, go away, I'm not teaching you. Go write a song. That's
Go write a song.
I don't know how to play. Go write a song. What do you mean?
Go write a song.
So
Aw.
I'm going, okay, well, then I started figuring out how to make notes come out of it, and then make a succession of notes, and then I got a song, see? And then I play them the riffs.
Aww.
And you go, okay, that's pretty good. Keep going. Basically like that.
That's
So-
really cool.
From that, stuff. Oh, that you figure, oh, that's how you play a D chord. And we went and got a Beatles book, so I learned all the chords from it. So then I'd take what I learned from the chords from the Beatles book and try to apply them and make chord patterns and chord progressions. And some of it didn't sound very good, but at least I was getting to be able to play them stuff in succession.
You got the right band of songs to try to learn the chords
You
from.
learn that a D and an F sound good together, or a D and a G and a D and a C. You learn what certain things sound together. So now you try to do things. So some of the first songs, I think, like we had this stupid thing we called. It's really vague to me. It's something about a colored room, or the colored room, or some stupid thing. And it was an E to A to D to A to E. It just basically, but it wasn't somebody else's song. It was something. And then we wrote, we tried to write words and sing along with the chords that we were actually playing, and made up our own melody, even though it wasn't much. But it was no less, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not much, but it's really not less. Because what you're doing is no different than the guy who did know what he was doing and did it.
Right.
You want simplicity, you want some innocent in simplicity. That's what you're looking for. And when you
It's
really
like-
don't have the simplicity, then it's even harder to get. So we were actually, the first few songs were easy to write. It's then we started to learn all the chords, and then we started really having a problem.
Too many choices. Yeah, I have that problem all the time. It's like
It's like the story in the album Joe's Garage by Frank Zappa. You know, we can jam in Joe's garage. The intonation sound is good. I don't know if I'm having the words right, but if you're familiar with the song, he just talks about we can play the same thing all day long. The C to the G to the F and back again.
It's like, hey, Pablo, like
That's
the painter. He said it took him his whole career to get back to where he was at the beginning.
Yep.
You know, he said that the innocence that he had lost all of it. And to be able to actually just put a few lines and a few things to signify things are things that you do when you first learn how to do painting and how to do art.
Right.
How do you go back there and yet be artistic about it and balanced? That's
true.
what you get. That's what you get. You get Picasso, and because the early Picasso movies or paintings are all like typical fucking paintings. You know, a house, trees. You know, not abstract. He went to the abstract later, and that's what he meant. He had to. It took him years to draw like he did when he was a little kid.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah.
It took him years to make a Picasso a Picasso.
That's right. But at the end of the day, it was very simple. Just draw like you don't know how to draw.
I think that the hardest thing for me was just to draw cartoons, to simplify it down to like, how do you not put shading on it? You know what I mean? Like, I just
you learn how to finely draw things. Now they're telling you, don't finely draw it. Signify it in 3/4 strokes. You
Exactly.
go, well, fuck. How do you do that? I think that ultimately that's what he meant.
Yeah.
Throw
Exactly.
the most important ones out there, just to the bare bones.
I think if it has
And
soul.
some of that is the same with guitar music. Sometimes the finer and the most unbelievable lead guitar players can't write very good songs, and thusly never get where they should have, would have, could have gotten.
Right. The greatest guitar players, I think, what they do is they use space as a note when they're phrasing. And they think of space when they're thinking of playing. And they're thinking does that make sense?
Or you just spaced out all the time, you know it does actually.
You're a guitar player.
That totally makes sense.
I'm not talking about what your taste is or what makes or what the criteria is for great. What I'm saying is guys that are very, very, very focused, particularly on just lead guitar, tend to not write very good songs. That's my observation. Whether you can tell me I'm wrong.
I'm gonna put that one quote out there and just say Lips says that lead guitarists are not good songwriters, and I'm just gonna see what comes back on my Facebook, because you're maybe right. I'm curious. You're always right.
All the time focusing on a particular aspect of your playing. You're not looking for that mighty riff that everybody wants to hear a billion fucking times.
Every song needs a 10-minute guitar solo. It's true. Every single one. I'm sorry. That's just
What's interesting? With the logic you're using is the same logic why I say musicians can't dance, because they're analyzing everything that's going on in the music and trying to show it. So all musicians, we look like idiots because we're trying to move to the guitar solo, or whatever. People who aren't comfortable with it, they go for the beat.
When you try holding a guitar, it just looks like you're screwing your guitar. You know what I mean? It really, because you've got nowhere else to. Truthfully, but you can't.
Well, I don't have a problem on stage. It's when I get to a club or something like that, and everybody else is dancing, and I just look foolish.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm overanalyzing it.
That's why
yeah, right.
That's why I was a goth. The best. You're just supposed to stand there and look glorious. Anyways, we got 1 minute left, guys. I just want to say thank you so much and that I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. And we'll talk very soon. I'm very sure of that. Right, Andy? Right?
Yeah, we will.
All right, guys. You have a good Friday.
Guys.
I won't be around for a while.
All right. I hope so.
Leps, hey, it's great seeing you, man. Take care. If I don't see you for a minute, but Andy, hope to see you soon.
Will do,
Hey.
no problem. Nice to meet you all.
Both of you. Kelly, rock on.
All right. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.
He's,
Uh, hurts.